Pop-Tarts. This is going to be the weirdest collection of footage. It's just going to be so random. There's going to be some organising, some travelling, and just some rambling. I think what I'm looking for in doing this is some accountability and some company, and I feel like when people vlog random stuff in their day, some of the time that is actually what they're looking for. They're doing stuff on their own and they've got a great deal of stuff that needs to get done, and they just want to feel like they have some sort of public to help them along with their day. And that's definitely what's going on with me. I've got shitloads to do today. I have got to go to my mum's today. My mum's actually away at the moment getting married in the Bahamas, which is very cute, and I'm going to go and stay at her flat for a while and spend some time with my brother and also with my friend who lives there, where my mum, like sort of where my mum lives, in the same area. So I'm going to get a lot done. I've got lots of notes to do regarding my next video collection. I've got some workshops that I want to film, that I want to complete the notes for and film while I'm at my mum's as well. And I've got clients I'm seeing as well. I've got a full schedule of clients tomorrow. I've got some clients on Friday the 17th as well. So yeah, basically I'm just going to be taking you along with me, so it's going to be super random. I know some people really enjoy the randomness and some people totally don't, so if you enjoy the random shit, the rambles and just random bits and pieces, you're going to love this extravaganza. Guys, I just wanted to show you this at my altar. This is an ivory letter opener that I picked up at a vintage place in my town. And obviously, you know, I don't like ivory, you know, like kind of objectively, of course. Ivory is just, ugh, you know, all kinds of fucked up. But it's vintage. It's from decades ago. And it really called to me. And I know that sounds really weird because I'm a vegan and I'm hugely into animal rights and stuff, but I'm quite a weird person, to be honest with you. Like, I do quite like fur coats, like vintage fur coats. I don't own one, but I've tried them on when I've been in vintage places shopping and whatnot. So it's not that I agree with the fur trade, and it's not that I agree with the ivory trade. I just like old objects. I just like vintage objects, and I have an interest in a number of different kinds of vintage objects. And I suppose one kind that I do have an interest in is the kind of objects that only a certain class of person would have had, you know. So, I mean, I'm just interested in that kind of thing, and often it's very ugly and cumbersome anyway, and not something that I necessarily want to own, but just something I take an interest in. I do have some ivory hairpins, which are very vintage as well, that I think I've mentioned on the channel years ago now. Again, you know, they're vintage. They're not supporting the ivory trade. They're just supporting somebody with a vintage shop that's got curio and bits and pieces, vintage bits and pieces in. But yeah, this is a vintage letter opener with these carvings in it, and it called to me for an athame. I've been looking for an athame, a sort of ceremonial kind of knife to do work with for a while, and it called to me for that. So it's still got the tag on it. I haven't blessed it or consecrated it or any of that shizzle. I haven't worked with it. I'm just putting it on the altar to see how I like it really, how I feel about it essentially. Hi guys, I'm packing now, just trying to decide what I'm taking. I have done some laundry and I have cleaned the whole kitchen, cleaned the fridge. I've done my washing up. I've got some snacks in the fridge and the cupboard for my friend who's coming to stay. I've done some work at my tarot table, filmed some client readings. I'm just uploading a client reading now. So I'm just packing my clothes. It's coming up for 3 o'clock. I really wanted to leave earlier than that, but not really a lot I can do about it. This is how it's worked out. So I'm going to take you guys on the journey with me, and we will end up at my mum's. I'm trying to pack as light as I possibly can with as little accessories as I can, because my mum would normally pick me up from the station and actually take me back to her house, which is really in quite a remote area of the country, but obviously she's in the Bahamas at the moment getting herself hitched, so I've got to make my own way there on 2 buses, so I'm trying not to pack too much. A little bit of food to take with me on the journey, just some fruit, some crystals to take with me for my readings. Anyone who's had a reading with me, an email reading or a video reading anyway, I don't normally go into the crystals I'm using when I'm on Skype, but with my video and email readings I always let you guys know what I'm using, and I'm always using rose quartz and normally a couple of others as well. So I've got a little bit of a selection there, and I've got my little notebook. My big notebook for my sessions, my business mentoring and spiritual counselling sessions. I've got a few sessions with clients while I'm away at my mum's, so I need to take that. And I also have 3 decks coming with me. I really wish it was only 2, but I didn't realise that a couple of people had ordered goddess guidance readings from me, which I need to do at my mum's. If I'd have realised that in time, I would have filmed them in advance, because I really don't want to take a 3rd deck with me, but I have to. But I'm taking Earth Magic for the Oracle deck and Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg for the Tarot deck, so that'll be cool. Okay guys, so I will catch up with you in the next clip. I'm on the train now. I've got a table so I can do my work, and I've got some black coffee, some bananas, and the most delicious blueberries ever. Oh my god, so good. Hopefully my journey goes off without a hitch, guys, otherwise I'm going to have to get a cab all the way from MK station to my mum's, which is not going to be good on the old pocket. But there is a chance that I've left a little bit too late to catch that last bus that goes to the town over that I need, so I'll see. I can only do my best. I'm finally here in Bucks, literally a couple of minutes from my mum's little cottage. So I've come from being 30 seconds from the seafront in my hometown to being literally almost the furthest away from the sea you can get in the UK. It's a very different terrain here, very different surroundings, lots more greenery, and obviously no shoreline. But it's really important for me to come back to the area of the country where I grew up sometimes, because I just love this kind of terrain and I get a different feeling from it, you know. So I'm looking forward to going on some woodland walks and such. That'll be nice. Seriously guys, I always peer through people's windows. I'm terrible. I mean, I don't go right up to them like in a creepy way, but I'm always like staring through and just looking what people are doing, you know, just looking at their decor and all that kind of shit. I tend to have a thing for doing that, actually. Is anyone else like that? I bet you're all like that, to be honest. Oh, my mum's left the kitchen light on for me. Probably so I don't get completely freaked out being here on my own. Hey, I'm here. Oh, everything's so nice. She's got everything done so lovely for me. Oh, she's left me a really long note. Oh, so cute. Right, I'm just going to get settled in. Oh, okay, so let me just relax for a sec. And take a load off, and then I am going to do some emails, because on the train I was smashing my way through my inbox. My inbox is a perpetual challenge for me, and so I want to get that looking a little bit more shiny. I'm going to have a glass of this Sauvignon Blanc called the Secretary Bird. It is suitable for vegans and it's going right in my belly pouch. Whew. I tell you what, I love taking public transport, but I had just the amount of stuff with me that was about to make it unpleasant. You know, like when you're carrying just almost too much stuff and you think, oh, I really should have a trolley with wheels for this. This is too much. It was just on the cusp. So I didn't bring like my big file of facts or anything like that, because I knew that was going to tip it over the edge. And I don't really like to have a trolley like on wheels to go through London and stuff like that. I like to have a bag I can put on my shoulder. So I consciously pack just light enough for that to be the case, but heavy enough that I've got my makeup, my clothes, my laptop, my client, you know, notebook that I need, my decks. So I feel like I've really had a workout getting here today. Blimey. So for the next few days, I am going to be creating some video content and some audio content, hopefully, making some notes for things that are going to be coming out in December, January and February of next year. I'm really, really excited about that. I have some clients, but I have consciously taken Friday, Saturday and Sunday off. But I do have some clients tomorrow, which is Thursday. At the time of filming this, guys, it is Wednesday the 15th of November. So I do have 4 clients tomorrow. I'm going to be using some of the weekend for creative pursuits and deep meditations because it is extremely quiet in this part of the country. It's very quiet here. I'm at the end of a really sort of bucolic country cul-de-sac in a little a village pretty much. So this is just going to be lovely. It's going to be time for me. I'm going to do a lot of note taking. I'm going to think about stuff that I want to create and create it and market it. And it's just going to be beautiful. I'm going to let myself come alive creatively. I'm going to enjoy the sound. Oh my God, that sound. It's just so quiet here. It's just amazing. I might do a little bit of vintage shopping and thrifting while I'm here, guys. There are a few places in this little village that are really good for that, and there's a few places in the town over that are really good for that as well. So if I do any of that, I'll show you a little haul, but mostly it's just going to be working and connecting online and creating things and meditating, being in the quiet, enjoying some walks, going around the graveyard, going to the parks. Yeah, so I think I'll film, and yeah, I'll just see what comes of it, and it'll be nice. It'll be nice to have a little bit of company without having company. And then I'm seeing a friend while I'm here, and I'm seeing my brother, so I need to get that sorted out. We need to organise availability and stuff, so this is nice. This is nice. Morning. Does anyone else set up a bed desk like this with books? I know I do. Oh dear. Okay, so today I am working on some readings. I've been editing a couple of the email readings that I recorded the audio for yesterday. Now I'm going to film a few video readings. I'm really excited. I have got some 2018, welcome 2018 video readings to do, and some food and fitness readings. I really love doing them. So that's going to be nice, and I'm going to have myself another cup of tea. Hey doll faces, it's now Friday. You got one clip of Thursday, literally. I was so busy. I was just working on emails, working on editing videos, and then I had 4 clients in a row with just half-hour breaks between. And after that I needed to decompress for like an hour and a half, and that took me to nearly 10 o'clock at night. And then I did some reading, made some more notes, and then sort of just started trying to relax and get into sleep mode. Had myself some bedtime tea and all that, you know. And today I'm just exploring some parts of where my mum lives that I've never actually sort of checked out before. And I wanted to talk just a little bit as I'm moving along here about revisiting the places where you grew up, and the places where there are a lot of memories and a lot of associations, and the places where maybe the terrain is different, the environment is different, the weather is different, it might even be a different country, there might even be a different language, different food, and how it takes you back to who you were as former versions of yourself. Because I was thinking, this video scrapbook is really random. Like, what is it about, really? What am I doing here? What's the plan? It's my Virgo moon coming out there going, look, this is all just a bit too much of a Sagittarian mishmash at the moment. We want to know what's going on, for fuck's sake. We want to know what the plan is. And I was thinking, well, mostly what I think it's about is just coming here, coming back here. And it's often a very bittersweet experience coming back to this part of the country, because I get, you know, a lot more greenery, as I was telling you before, and it is different weather, and it is different, it's a different vibe, basically. There's different energies, there's different ley lines. But I do have a lot of difficult memories from this part of the country too. Even the main train station where I have to get off to get the bus to my mum's is a difficult train station for me to be at. There's a lot of difficult memories associated with where I used to live before I moved to the coast. Some of those memories, some of you will know actually, if you received the Envision and Bestow series, video series, if you purchased that from me, then you will have been privy to the very intimate, real and raw first video from that particular collection, where I do break down in tears and talk about a couple of shitty things anyway that happened to me in the last little throes of my time where I used to live. And of course those memories are brought up. So I can see the value in revisiting this place, and it's meant a lot to me so far. and I can see how it nurtures me and it fills me up, but I can also see how it drains me at the same time. Does that make sense to anyone else? It's happened, both things are like happening simultaneously, basically. You can know that it serves you sometimes to do a hard thing, and you can know as well that something is going to be wonderfully rejuvenating and feel great, but also feel difficult and prickly in parts, and you can embrace it as it is. And I suppose this message is going out particularly to anybody who's going home for Christmas, who's going back to a place where a lot of shit has gone down and there's a lot of water under the bridge. There's a lot of oceans under several fucking bridges. And you're going back there. This is a message, I suppose, of comfort and love and support and encouragement, and an invitation for you to see this as an interesting psycho-spiritual adventure rather than seeing it as a burden or a scary thing, something that you don't have the strength to deal with, something that you're not going to be able to handle. Instead, see it as something that you're going into with your eyes wide open. See it as something that you're going to embrace as much as you can. When you're revisiting a place, whether it's a town, whether it's just a part of a country, whether it's specifically a household, you know, whether it's sort of like a region, if you will, you have to sort of let go a little bit. You have to let go of the wheel, and you might be more or less practiced at doing this organically. You might be more or less able to do this depending on who you are and what you've been through and what your personality is like and stuff. But I know that for me, I've inherited from my mother, and I've been aware of it for some years now and working on it for some years now, a tendency to micromanage my experience and to try to make my experience fit the template of what I've envisioned in my mind. So I know when I come back here, when I come back to this particular county and I re-experience some of these places that I have been, I have to let go. I have to let go and accept that the experience is going to be a number of different things. And some of them are going to be hard. I'm going to have some memories that are going to stick in my throat. And it's just going to be, it's got to be interesting. It's got to be something that I consider to be interesting and that I'm willing to flow into. The minute I try and resist it, it's no good. The minute I try and resist it and dig my heels in is the minute that pain starts. So I have to just lean into it. You know, it's so weird. Last night I was walking past a barber shop. I went out to get some snacks between clients and I was walking past a barber shop and I absolutely swore, point blank period, that I saw my ex sitting in the barber shop waiting to get his hair cut. And I stopped and I like sort of walked back, you know, and looked through the window and I went, it's him. It's him. And then it totally wasn't him, it was just someone that looked like him. It was such a weird feeling. And the likeness was uncanny, like this guy looked like my ex, right? But it was just interesting to me because that kind of thing never really happens to me. I never mistake somebody for someone else like that. And it was a really dramatic moment where I was like, oh my God, I'm coming face to face with this huge, overwhelming piece of my past. And then it wasn't him at all. It was just some other random guy. Who has an equally interesting and beautiful looking face. So I started walking down the road and I was kind of a bit like, wow, that was weird. I was so sure it was him and I was thinking about what I was going to do and if I was going to go in and say hello or not. And then I thought to myself, you know what, that's really the magic of this kind of experience where you come back to your past, the location of your past, is that things will just kind of like grab you out of nowhere and make you think. They will make you think about where you are with it now and why you would have done the thing you thought you were going to do, and just it makes you explore. And that can be horrible and painful and shitty and scary, or you can go into it with your eyes wide open and your third eye wide open and just be like, you know what, it's going to be a bit of a trip. It always is when I go back. And I have to accept it, I have to embrace it, you know. I wish you all strength and all love if you're going home this Christmas and you feel like this kind of thing is going to be a situation for you that you might have to face. Guys, I'm really struggling to decide whether or not to go into the witchy shop that I know is here on the high street. There's nothing that I need. There's not even so much as some incense that I need to replace. I don't fucking need anything. I know if I go in there, I'm going to buy something. Why would I go in there? Like, no. I keep thinking to myself, no, you don't need to go in, you're not going in, you're going to be good, you're going to be disciplined, you're going to take that money that you know you would spend on crap that you do not need, and you're going to put it in your savings account. But there's this other part of me that's like, but am I? Am I going to do that? Or am I actually going to find my legs walking into the witchy shop against my will? Oh shit, I don't know. I just love the books and the shinies and the smellies and the statues and the decks, but no, I can't have decks. I mustn't have crystals. I don't need any of that. I'll only have to haul it home anyway. And I already accidentally thrifted a coat yesterday, guys, and I really just don't know if I've got the room in my bag to take it home. I might have to send it to myself. I'll show it to you guys when I get back to the house though. It is the most delicious tweed duffel, and I needed it. And when you see it, you will agree that I needed it, and you will enable the fuck out of me. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Good morning. It's now Sunday. I didn't film any of Saturday. For the record, guys, I did not go to the witchy shop on Friday. I know that I was having a little bit of an and an about what I was going to do in that regard. I didn't go. I managed to be strong and I went back to my mum's cottage without going, so I don't have a haul for you. But what I do have for you is me relaxing in my mum's bed. I'm going to do some card reading and poetry reading, because I have my coffee here. Yes, I do drink coffee as well. I fancied a coffee this morning for a change. And I'm spending a little bit of time in bed this morning before I get up. I've got loads to do today. I have got some readings to be done. I'm very excited about that. I have got some video editing to do, some video filming to do because the light is on point today. And I've got some rewriting of product copy to do. And I've also got a product to launch. By the time you see this video scrapbook, the product will be available. It's called Cyberheart, and it's basically an audio workshop. It's a 90-minute thereabout mark audio workshop to help you to reconnect with the internet in a positive way and deal with any issues you might be having with your relationship to the internet. So if you're using it to procrastinate, if you're using it for toxic comparison, if you've just got a yucky relationship with it, if you keep falling into a scroll hole, or you find that you feel shitty after you use the internet, then this audio file could be a really helpful tool. So I'll leave the link for Cyberheart down below. I'm going to be putting a lot more audio workshops, kind of little audio talks, on my online store. That for me is a really nice way to package messages and get them across and do more specialized things that I might not necessarily put onto the channel. So I'm really excited to play around with different products and different ways of doing things and just experimenting. So I'm feeling super creative, and Cyberheart was definitely a result of that creative streak. I'm already making some notes for other audio files, audio workshops that I want to put on the online store. So exciting times. I have to sculpt my guns at the office. Here's what I'm reading at the moment, guys. I am reading Love's Executioner and Other Tales of Psychotherapy by Irvin D. Yalom. This is a really awesome book. Really enjoying it. So deep. And I'm also reading Short Days, Long Nights, a poetry collection by Helen Dunmore. Just dipping in and out, you know, as you can with poetry. I love this woman's way with words. It's just, there's something about it that's really satisfying. Trying to find a particular poem that I read the other night that just fell on my ears beautifully, because I'm reading the poems out loud, and there's something so satisfying about some of the poems in this book. I love this particular poem. It's called Sisters Leaving Before the Dance, and the visuals are so heady and I can really get them in mind, and the word combinations that she's used in some of this poem is just, they're really satisfying. Sisters leaving before the dance, before the caller gets drunk, or the yellow streamers unreal, looping like ribbons here and there on the hair of the dancers. Sisters at the turn of the stairs, as the sound system 1-2s, as the squeeze box mewed in its case is slapped into breath, and that scrape of the table shoved back for the dance burns like the strike of a match in the cup of two hands. Ripe melons and meat mix in the bin bags with cake puddled in cherry slime. Wind heavy with tar blows back the yard door. and I'm caught with 3 drinks in my hands on the stairs looking up at the sisters leaving before the dance, not wishing to push past them in their white broderie anglaise and hemmed skirts civilly drawn to their sides to make room for the big men in suits and the girls in cerise, dance slippers and cross-backed dresses who lead the way up and take charge of the tickets, and yet from their lips cantaloupe fans as they speak in bright quick murmurs between a violin ghosting a tune and the kids in the bar downstairs begging for coke, peaky but certain. The sisters say their good nights, and all the while people stay bunched on the stairs going up, showing respect for the small words of the ones leaving, the ones who don't stay for the dancing. One sister twists a white candle waxed in a nest of hydrangeas, brick red and uncommon, flowers she really can't want. She bruises the limp, warm petals with crisp fingers and then poises her sandal over the next non-slip stair, so the dance streams at her heels in the light of a half-shut door. I love that one. Let me go to one that I haven't checked out yet. This is called The Dream Life of Priests. Do they wake careless and warm, with light on the unwashed windows and a perpetual smell of bacon? Do their hearts sink at today's martyr with his unpronounceable name and strange manner of execution? Do they wake out of the darkness with hearts thudding like ours and reach for the souvenir lamp switch, then shove a chair against the door and key facts into the desktop computer while cold rattles along the corridor? Do they cry out in sleep at some barely crushed thought, some failure to see the joke? Or do they rest in their dreams along the surface of the water like a bevy of dragonflies, slack and blue in the shallows, whirring among reed mace and water forget-me-not while the ripples cluck? Do they wake in ordinary time to green curtains slapping the frame of a day they'll cloud later on? To cars nudging and growling for space, to a baptismal mother wan with her eagerness and her sleepless milk-sodden nights? Do they reach and stroke the uneven plaster and sniff the lime blossom threading like silk through the room? Or do they wait, stretched out like babies in the gold of its being too early, with sun on their ceilings wobbling like jelly, while their housekeepers jingle the milk bottles and cry father in 60-year-old voices and scorched host with devotion? Do they sense the milk in the pan rising, then dive with their blue chins, blundering through prayer under their honeycomb blankets? Oh, so many visuals, just so many great visuals, isn't there? You know what I mean? I like to sometimes go through and just choose a title that I like the look of. Okay, this is called Poem for Hidden Women, which I do like the look of title-wise. And the first word is the F word, which is good for me. Good, strong first word for a poem. And fuck anyone who disagrees. I'm sorry. Okay, Poem for Hidden Women. Fuck this staring paper and table. I've just about had enough of it. I'm going out for some air, he says, letting the wind bang upon his sheets of poems. He walks quickly. It's cool, and rainy sky covers both stars and moon. Out of the windows come slight echoes of conversations receding upstairs. There, he slows down. A dark side street, thick bushes, he doesn't see them. He smokes. Leaves can stir as they please. We clack like jackrabbits from pool to pool of lamplight. Stretching our lips, we walk exposed as milk cattle past heaps of rubbish, killed by the edge of knowledge that trees hide, a face slowly detaching itself from shadow and starting to smile. The poet goes into the steep alleys close to the sea, where fish scales line the gutter and women prostitute themselves to men, as men have described in many poems. They've said how milky or bitter as lemons they find her, the smell of her hair, vanilla, cinnamon. There's a smell for every complexion. Cavafy tells us he went always to secret rooms and purer vices. He wished to dissociate himself from the hasty unlacings of citizens fumbling, capsizing, white, flesh in a mound and kept from sight. But he doesn't tell us whether these boys' hair always smelled of cinnamon or if their nights cost more than spices. A woman goes into the night cafe, chooses a clean knife and a spoon, and takes up her tray. Quickly the manageress leans from the counter, as when a policeman arrests a friend, her eyes plunge and her voice roughens. She points to a notice with her red nail, "After 11 we serve only accompanied females." The woman fumbles her grip on her bag and it slips. Her forces tumble. People look on as she scrambles for money and Tampax. 1,000 shadows accompany her down the stiff lino through the street lighting. The poet sits in a harbour bar where the tables are smooth and solid to lean on. It's peaceful. Men gaze for hours at beer and brass glistening. The sea laps. The door swings. The poet feels poems invade him. All day he has been stone-breaking, he says. He would be happier in cafes in other countries, drinking, watching. He feels he's a familiar sort of poet, but he's at ease with it. Besides, he's not actually writing a poem. There's plenty, he's sure, in drink and hearing the sea move. For what is Emily Dickinson doing back at the house, the home? A doctor emerges, wiping his face, and pins a notice on the porch. After a while, you don't even ask. No history gets at this picture. A woman named Sappho sat in bars by purple water, with her feet crossed at the ankles and her hair flaming with violets, never smiling when she didn't feel like it. End here, it's hopeful, says the poet, getting up from the table. That is a really interesting poem. I would have to read that a few times to think about what it's all about. I feel like it's about male privilege, and I feel like it's a little bit about the difficulties that women go through, and about sex work and about objectification. And I think it's about women as the muse, you know, and how that dehumanizes the idea of women as man's muse. And I love the way Sappho turns up at the end. This is awesome. A woman named Sappho sat in bars by purple water with her feet crossed at the ankles and her hair flaming with violets, never smiling when she didn't feel like it. I love that. I love that. And there is a dialogue about, you know, women being expected to smile and being expected to perform and being expected to make everybody feel comfortable, and this idea that, you know, fuck that shit. You know, fuck that shit. So this is a really interesting poem. Helen Dunmore actually died this year, which I didn't realise until I plucked this out and started reading it and just sort of looked into her a little bit more. There's a poem in this collection called Rapunzel that I really enjoy, so I'll read that for you lastly. Rapunzel, let down your hair, let your strong hair wind up the water you wish for. All your life looking down on bright treetops, your days go by quickly. You read and you eat in your white tower top, where sunlight fans through high windows, and far below you bushes are matted with night. With soft thumbprints, darkness muddles your pages. The prince arrives, whose noisy breathing and sweat as he vaults your windowsill draws you like wheat fields on the enchanted horizontal. He seeds your body with human fragments, dandruff, nail clippings, dust. The detritus of new pleasures falls on your waxed boards. Your witch mother, sweeping them, sorrowfully banishes the girl who has let a prince clamber her. For 6 years you wander the desert from level to pale level. At night you make a bunker to sleep in, near to the coyotes. The ragged prince plays blind man's buff to the sound of your voice singing, as you gather desert grasses in hollows hidden from him. Daily your wise mother unpicks the walls of the tower. Its stones are taken for sheepfolds, your circle of hair hidden beneath the brambles. I love that poem, that's beautiful. I'm going to do a couple of card draws before I get up now, guys. I thought you might want to join me. So, I'm going to go for Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg, which I bought to Mummy's. And also, why not pull one from Earth Magic Oracle as well? I think I'll do Earth Magic first. You know, the way that I discovered this deck, Earth Magic Oracle, was because Angel, I'll leave her channel below, was saying that it's a perfect first deck for a child who is showing an interest in your cards and wants to kind of have their own deck, that it's a really good, like, first Oracle deck for them to have. And so I saw some pictures of it. I can't remember if she included the pictures in a blog post or if I just had a look and went and looked them up. But I saw them and I thought, yes, they would be really good for children. But also, I quite like the look of that deck as well. Move over, children. Auntie Kelly would like those cards as well, please. Oh, that coffee is absolutely lovely. Okay, so the card that's come through with a message for me today to contemplate on is Forest. Breath. That's really weird because I've actually just on Twitter, before I started filming this, I was scrolling Twitter and I saw something beautiful. Somebody had posted a picture of a forest, like a photograph of a forest, and they'd written, lie down in the forest and remember your destiny. And I thought that was beautiful, and it really hit me. It really was like a gorgeous thing to see on Twitter. And now I'm seeing this, the forest card with the subheading breath, which is great because, you know, trees create a lot of oxygen and such. I love this. This is gorgeous. This is making me think about the fact that I'm in this different terrain, that there's no shoreline around here, and there's, you know, the place looks different, as I was explaining yesterday. It makes me think about appreciating the terrain that's here, appreciating one of the reasons that I wanted to come here and spend time here. And it makes me think, you know, I'm definitely going to go outside today and go for a proper walk and appreciate my surroundings. I love forests and woodlands. I actually don't go that deeply into them because I think it can be very dangerous to do so. When there are residential areas and stuff around, which there you know normally are in this country because we're all packed together. I'm not saying there aren't places where you can go that are really remote, but I'm not likely to be there because I don't drive. So you know, there's normally some neighbourhoods around and things like that, and so I tend not to go too deeply into places where people might be lurking with bad intention. So yeah, I do a lot of walking in forests and woodlands, and I've noticed underneath some of my old videos where I used to walk around in the forest a lot, that people have been like, you know, please be careful, I feel so sketchy when I watch these videos, I feel like someone's going to jump out at you. And you know what, I'm really, really vigilant, and I do not walk where I feel like nobody could see me. Like you'll notice in a lot of my older videos where I'm in the woods that you can actually hear the road, you can hear cars, and that's for a reason. It's because I want the road in sight, or I want to be near a place where I know people walk their dogs, I know that it's quite populated. So, you know, you don't need to worry about me. I'm a really vigilant human. I mean, of course, we all need to worry about each other all the time. But don't panic. I'm not deliberately trying to not be sensible. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to be sensible. So, yeah, I love walking around in the woods. I get a really good feeling from it. It's so inspiring. And it really helps to get me out of myself. It's like a form of meditation. It's walking meditation, right? So yeah, there's something about this card and the beautiful colours of all the different trees as well that's making me think, oh, I want to finish my work and get outside, or take a break from my work at some point to go outside. And I love the fact that breath is the subheading for the forest card, because I was thinking a while ago about just returning to the breath in my meditation, because sometimes my freditation, that sounds like a terrible YouTube channel of a man called Fred who teaches meditation and he's just really into puns, and it's just like, Fred, just teach us Vipassana, mate. We don't need all the fucking freditation nonsense. Meditation, sorry, my meditation is getting just like a bit fruity and flowery lately, and a bit like over the top. I'm just playing a lot with binaural beats and playing a lot with chanting and things, and it's great. I love doing things like that. As I've always told you guys, my meditation never stays the same for long. I'm always trying to add elements to it and whatnot, or using apps or using guided meditations. I think I will do a guided one today, to be honest. I think I will do. The reason I haven't done any meditation or any work or anything yet on myself this morning, guys, is because I woke up with my brother this morning. My brother stayed last night. He came over, we had some dinner, we went for a walk in the dark. It was lovely. Had some great quality time with my bro. So I just made him some tea this morning and we were just chatting before he left. So, I haven't actually done a meditation yet, but yeah, my meditations can get just all a little bit like higgledy-piggledy, and I was thinking about taking it back to the breath, because sometimes I feel like it's important to just return to the inhale and exhale, because for me, when I haven't done that for a while, I notice that there's a fear around it. And I don't know if anybody else has this in their meditation practice, but when I notice that there is a fear around just sitting with the inhale and exhale, I feel it's because I don't want to necessarily create space for something to come through that I'm trying to push out. I don't want to create the space to deal with something that I might not be dealing with. And it's not conscious. It's not a conscious thing like, oh, I think I'll listen to binaural beats, or I'll listen to music, or I'll listen to a guided meditation, because that takes me down a specific path. And it does take me to mindfulness, and it does take me to the moment, but there's not as much of a vacuum for stuff to come in that I've been worrying about or thinking about, you know? It's not conscious. It's not like I'm deciding I'm not going to do breath work because it's too high risk or whatever. But I do find after a while, like, I need to be honest with myself that I'm actually a little bit afraid of just focusing on the breath. And at that point, I think it's very wise to immediately get yourself back to it. You know, put the binaural beats down and just get back to the alpha and omega, the breath. That was a really beautiful card to receive. I'm really happy about that. Okay, so let's draw a tarot card as well, see what I can see in that department. Someone received, one of my clients received the death card yesterday in their reading from this deck, and I was looking at it, and you know what, I fucking love the death card in this deck. Let me try and find it for you. Here it is right at the back. Look how wicked that is, that skull with the helmet on the battlefield. Absolutely awesome. And it's got a sword through its jaw, and there's still some flesh and a moustache on its jaw. How Russian is that shit? Is it zooming in? Look how cool it is. It's such a great death card, guys. I love it. Also, I love the fact that there's a body there, and then like there's a little body there, and the head. So it's like the head is a giant head. It's like the body's normal size and the head is giant. Or the head is normal size and the body is just this little homunculus man. What the fuck? It's so cool. I'm really glad I took this weekend off. I'm working, obviously, but what I mean is I took it off from doing any Skype sessions or readings, and that means that my time is my own, and I can put the work in. Work the work in, work. No, don't go there. Don't butcher Rihanna now. Yeah, I can choose when I want to do things. You know, I can get up early and get stuff out of the way early. I can come to it later. I can take a break. So when I say I've taken the weekend off, I don't always mean I'm not working at all. I am doing some form of work unless I have plans with friends and stuff. But I have taken the weekend off from anything time specific. So my time is my own, and that feels great. And it means I can do more things like this in the morning time, you know. Okay, so the tarot card with the message for me today is Ace of Clubs. That's really cool. It's a really nice Ace of Clubs. I love the electric blue in this deck. There's these all like tinges of electric blue going through it, and I fucking love that. Personally, Ace of Clubs is making me think about the new direction that I'm taking in my online store with doing these audio workshops. The reason that I like doing audio workshops is because they are much kind of less labor intensive for me to produce, which means that they can be cheaper. It means, like, you know, I feel I can sell them for less than a reading. So somebody can get like 90 minutes of my guidance and tools and instructions around a specific thing, but it doesn't need to break the bank for me in terms of time and labor to do it. So if I'm not doing video, then I don't have to set up the lighting, take the time to do the editing and all that kind of stuff. With audio, I just record it straight. And I feel like that gives it a very kind of homely, almost like you're having a conversation with me kind of thing. I mean, I don't think jump cuts take away from that necessarily, but there is a certain polished vibe to my videos that I think a lot of people appreciate the audio files for, because there isn't so much that polished vibe. The sound is fine, and you know, the information is solid, but it feels a little bit more like I'm just talking to you in a bar or something like that, you know? So I can charge less for them, but I put my whole heart and soul into them. And I really love that about the experience of doing audio workshops. So I'm excited to do more audio workshops and write more notes for audio workshops. I'm also writing the notes for my latest video collection, my exclusive video collection. Haven't done one in a while, and I'm really excited about this one. This one's going to be amazing. It's going to be much more to do with magic and ritual and spiritual practice and guidance to that end. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm not going to be filming it here because the light is not that good in the cottage. It's very changeable and I don't have my soft light, so I can't really regulate the light. So I'm not going to be doing it here, because I do feel like if you pay coin for an exclusive video collection, it does need to look okay. It doesn't need to look amazing. It's about the content. It's not about everything looking super flashy, but I want the light to be consistent, and I want, you know, the experience of watching the video to be pleasurable. I don't want anyone to be distracted by the sun going in and out behind the clouds and all that kind of thing. So, although, you know, in one of my video collections I have done a video outside, so that I do videos outside sometimes, but I just feel like I want to keep it regulated. The cottage goes dark really quickly here, so once you turn the artificial light on, it doesn't look great, and I want my video collection ones to look decent, you know? So I'm not filming the video collection here, but I am making the notes for it, and it's an incredible creative experience for me. This is a different video collection in the nature of what it's actually involving, what I'm actually putting into it, than any other, because I'm talking about witchy stuff. So it's really awesome to be doing those notes and thinking and letting it marinate, thinking about what I want to include. So for me, Ace of Clubs is basically just about things that I'm doing creatively. And I'm also thinking about some stuff that I want to do creatively in my own magical practice. I've got a lot of art witch ideas going on at the moment regarding collage, regarding vision boards and stuff like that. So I'm really thinking more about the visual element in my magic again, and I do keep kind of circling around to this on and off. So yeah, I'm thinking about that more, and that's been going through my head in a way where I've been like, oh, I can't wait to get back and sort of try different things out, and I can't wait to create like a specific part of my grimoire that is kind of for these explorations and imagery and stuff like that. So I've definitely got art witch thoughts happening as well, and getting excited about that. And I don't want to put too fine a point on it, because I'm not sure when this could happen or what the timeline would be for it. But I have been, for the first time ever in the last couple of months, maybe the last 3 months, thinking about making a tarot deck. Now, I'm not thinking at all about like selling it. I'm not visualizing getting it funded. I'm not thinking about any of that, guys. That would be way down the road, if at all. I'm just thinking about the fact that more and more lately, I have wanted to actually explore the images of tarot through my own lens and through the way that I like to do art, which is like collage and multimedia. And I've just been thinking about it, and I can't get it out of my fucking mind. I've been really visualizing, and I blame my friend Siobhan for this, who I'm seeing on Wednesday, guys. She did an amazing painting of the Magician, and sent me a picture of it and said, like, I'm starting to make a tarot, I'm starting to paint images of tarot. And I was like, shit, that's fucking amazing. And it really sparked something in me, and I was like, I think I want to make some images as well. And I've always known that if I created a tarot deck, if I actually made the 78 images, they would make very heavy use of fashion imagery. Obviously, they have to be true collage images. They can't just be sort of more what I call sort of scrapbook images, where you've only made a couple of changes. Because obviously, if I ever did want to publish the deck, the whole idea with collage is that you have to have distinctly taken whatever imagery you've used out of its like prior context, to the point where it is clearly your work. Apparently there's something, the way that they do it is they look at, like, there's got to be 6 key changes to it. But the way to not risk it for a biscuit, the way where you actually know that it is your work, is if you just collage the fuck out of it. So I would definitely not just use an image and then start collaging a little bit over it. I would deconstruct it completely, because then that makes it my work, and it makes the original art into just a resource, just a part of what I eventually create, right? So, but I really love high fashion imagery. That's what I've always used to make my collage work, and I've always been a collage artist since I was a teenager, and I love using high fashion imagery. I love using imagery of women, and that's how I do things. That's my whole MO. So I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking if I wanted to make it pure collage, or if I also wanted to do some pen work. There are a few examples on my Instagram of stuff that I've done where I've used pen work as well, and I've brought that into it as well, and I really enjoy doing that. I enjoy using my craft knife to cut out certain sections and then fill them in with like intricate pen work and stuff like that. So I've been thinking about that. I've been wondering if I feel like that's what I want to do, or if I want it to just be pure collage. And by pure collage, I mean not mixed media, so no pen, no paint, just pure collage. And I've been wondering, do I want to make it all kind of like feminine and feminine imagery of women? Do I want to go, you know, in another direction? So I'm having some thoughts about it, and Ace of Clubs is definitely bringing this up for me. And I feel like for me, it's like urging me. It's a sign of affirmation for me that this is a good direction, that I should think about actually putting my thoughts and my feelings about the deck to paper. to posh paper. I'm already looking at posh paper that I can use to do these images. So I would like to, I mean, I think I would like to create a deck, and I would love to write about why I've chosen what I've chosen to go into each image. And like writing the guidebook for me is really an exciting part of the whole idea. But, you know, I don't want to say that I'm going to be selling a deck, I'm going to be making and selling a deck or anything like that. It's not going to be anything like that. I would just privately make the images. I would never want anybody, for me personally, it wouldn't work to have people backing the deck and therefore being involved in the development of the deck and seeing the images as they come out. And I've backed decks of this nature, don't get me wrong, this is normally what happens, right? You show people a kind of sample of what the deck will look like, but then you get it funded as you're making the rest of it, and people are involved and you post update pictures, and it's very exciting and the whole process is very cool. But for me personally, I'm not about that life at all. I'm just planning to create the imagery that really speaks to me regarding each card, and it will help me to explore more deeply each card. I think that there comes a certain point in your journey as a professional card slinger where you start to think about what you would have as the Magician, what you would have as the Three of Swords, what would the Ace of Wands look like for you, you know? And that's where I am at the moment in my journey. So I am very, very excited about that, guys. And I have such searing visions, and I don't know, like obviously I'm a bit nervous that I'm going to start making these images and it's all just going to go a bit Pete Tong, and I'm going to be like, oh no, I wish I'd not started this now. But you know what, you've got to feel that fear and do it anyway. You've got to hug the monster, and other names of very famous self-development books, all the names of famous self-development books. Feel the fear and do it anyway, you know, you've got to do that. So I'm thinking about it, guys, a lot, and I really want to get my art book back out and start to do some experimentations first, and maybe post some stuff on Instagram, and just, yeah, get a little bit more confident and happy with where I am with my art, with my creations and stuff. So I need to do that. I need to get back onto the kind of more sketchy art book train. Before I get posh paper and start making fucking tarot imagery, I need to play. There needs to be some playtime. So, you know what? I'm going to try and make it into an Art Witch episode, I think. Because I made this Art Witch video a while ago where I was just making something for a friend, and it helped a lot of people, you know. A lot of people put that on and started doing their own art, or, you know, doing their own stuff. So I'm going to try and make that into another episode, guys, and just show you how I play in my art book and stuff that I do and how I like to work. And it does give me an excuse to go and shop for some awesome, like, fine liner pens, because at the moment I don't have anything that I would do the fine line drawing with. I haven't done any of that for a while, and the pens that I was using before have run out now. I think they were Staedtler. So I need to think about what kinds of pens I'm going to be using. So yeah, I think I'm going to give this a stab when I get back. Oh my God, Ace of Clubs has been such a good one to get today. I'm so happy. Right, that's enough card slinging for me. Now it's time to go card sling for my clients. I might check in with you guys later when I'm on my walk, hopefully. I'm really shit at vlogging. I'm always like not vlogging what I'm doing or whatever, but hopefully I will go for a walk later and get my forest vibes on, and speak to you guys then. Mwah! Okay, babes, I've just finished a client reading, so that's going to be uploading now. It's going to take a lot longer to upload than it would at my home, because mum's broadband isn't as fast, but it's okay, it's not going to take all day or anything. So I'm going to pop out for a walk while that is uploading. I'm using my Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg, guys, because it was in my Reach for More basket. I really, really fucking love this deck. It's got such a Yule vibe to it, with that like awesome Fabergé egg detailing around the sides. I really love it. Yeah, look at this. This is just like the cloth, the tablecloth that's on my mum's table, and it's like so not my usual style of cloth at all, as you'll know if you've had a reading from me or you follow me on Instagram. My tarot cloths are a lot more like loud and leery than this usually. This is like really demure and sort of like like a kind of, I don't know, Kat Kidson housewife type vibe. So yeah, it's interesting to be doing my readings on this. Gives it a different flavour. This is the cute little tweed duffel jacket, guys, that I got, that I thrifted.
I fucking love it. It's so cute. It's very me, I think. It's very lovely. Very happy with that.
Doing some exploring baby cakes. Exploring around, enjoying the terrain, enjoying the green spaces. They are much more numerous than they are by the coast. And I think that's just a natural consequence of there being coastline. You know what I mean? If people want to walk their dogs, they'll go to the beach. And a lot of people live by the beach or choose to remain by the beach because they fucking love the beach. So what better than to walk your dog along the beach, you know? But I do miss like fields upon fields. I just don't have much of that within walking distance where I live. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit today about planners and planning for next year. I know that a lot of you are aware that I'm a big planner nut and like a fan of notebooks and stationery and paper planning as a way to organise my time, get clear on my goals and all that good shit. And this year is very different for me, gearing up for 2018. I actually am just thinking of doing very much my own thing, planning on utilising my Filofax and just making it much more goal friendly and checking in myself, using my own checking in system rather than purchasing something like the Leonie Dawson planner or something else of that ilk. I feel like I want to really get the return on my investment with the Filofaxes because they're not cheap. So I kind of feel like I would like to repurpose my Filofax. Well, not repurpose it, I'll still use it for planning my movements and looking at, you know, the calendar for the month and seeing where I am and what time I've got and appointments and shit like that, of course. But I want to repurpose part of it for looking at goals. So I've already got my gym/fitness goal planner in my Filofax, which I just created myself. It's just a part of my Filofax that I have now, like a section kind of thing. But I'm thinking about looking at what else I can do, what else I want to bring in that's also about reaching goals. God, I fucking love it here. It's so beautiful. It's like something from a fucking Jane Austen novel. Bleeding gorgeous. I think it's really good to take ideas from the different planners that are out there and just create your own thing. If you have a ring binder planner like I do, then why not utilise it? Why not just figure out what you want and then create your own pages for it, or just go rogue and have plain paper and, I don't know, just set an alarm on your phone every month to remind you to do your check-in. You can make a really lovely little goal planner and goal tracker kind of situation in your own ring-bound planner. So you don't actually need to invest in one of these journals or planners or anything. If you've already got quite a lot of paper products and you know that you don't use a lot of them as much as you want to anyway, and you're thinking, do I really want to invest more? Will I really use this? I would definitely recommend thinking about doing something DIY. If you don't have a ring-bound planner, that totally doesn't matter. Just go and get like a pad, like a bound book, not a pad, like a bound book from Poundland or the dollar store or wherever the fuck you're at, like a cheap place, and go through and set out a certain amount of pages for each month. And you can put your food and fitness tracker on one, or your food and fitness check-in monthly review thing, and then you could have a few pages for finances and your goals there and your check-ins there. Like, make your own, get a ruler and some highlighters and some pens and actually set out your own pages. I think that would be a really awesome thing to do. Definitely don't be afraid to change things up throughout the year as well. If you find that a system is not working for you anymore, change it. That's why I got into Filofaxes. That's why I got into binder planners, so I can change things. I can have different sections when I need them. I can take them out when I'm done with them. I can switch things up. I can decide I don't want this in my planner anymore, or I do, and I can change my mind as many times as I like, and it doesn't leave a piece of stationery fundamentally obsolete because of a decision that I've made. You know, it's a flawless system because I can just customize it as much as I want. I'm not spending any more money other than on the paper that I'm placing into it. And that's it. That's just, it's as simple as it is. Like, it's such a great system. If you can get into ring binder planners or whatever, then you really can customize it and take it to that next level. If you've never had a paper planner before and you're thinking 2018 might be a good idea for you to plan more, at least write down your goals and check in with them once a month if nothing else, then I would definitely recommend starting with either a cheap bound week on 2 pages diary with potentially hopefully a month to view as well, or starting with a cheap like a ring binder planner, because you never know if it's going to be your thing or not. If you've never really been big into paper journaling or crafting or
paper related stuff, but you think it might be a good idea for you, then start with a cheap paper product and go from there. For me, I just started with a standard pink academic diary, week on 2 pages. I wanted to see if I could use that for a whole year, using it to plan my appointments, my movements, etc. And it worked perfectly. It was really nice. It made everything run more smoothly. There was still a lot of glitches with it and a lot of problems with it. I did not immediately take to paper planning like a duck to water. It's not just a case of like being artistic and being fond of doing things with your hands, and that's what makes you a good paper planner. That might make you a good decorator of your planner. It might make you good at making your planner aesthetically pleasing, but it is not going to mean in any world that you are necessarily going to use it correctly, you know. So essentially, I think you do have to start with cheaper products and actually see if they will stand the test of time with you, see if you're still using them 6 months down the line. If you are, then invest, because I do think a lot of people invest in paper products and don't end up using them and feel disappointed. So I think you have to see if your heart's in it, and that's my personal advice to you. I'm going to leave below a couple of links to previous videos that I've done about paper planning and organising and that shit. One is a collection of my stationery, another one is just all about paper planning. I can't remember if there's another one as well. Oh yeah, there's an updated. So there's 2 ones about the journals and stationery that I was using at the particular time that I filmed, and then there's another one about paper planning. So that you might find that useful. I know that a lot of people found the idea of a movable to-do list very useful in that video. Quite a lot of people contacted me afterwards and thanked me for mentioning that, because it's been a little bit of a lifesaver for them. So you might want to watch that if you haven't and this topic is piquing your interest, darling. Figuring out what works for you can be a bit of trial and error, and you've got to, again, have your heart in it. You've got to realise that the first system that you come across or the first idea that you have might not necessarily be the one that you stick with. You're probably going to want to consider the idea of watching paper planners on YouTube who are explaining their systems to you, explaining what they use, why they do it the way that they do it, and see if you can try a few things before something sticks. Hey honeybees, I think the last time I left you was a few days ago talking about planner stuff. And since then, I've actually done a podcast with my gorgeous friend Joanna DeVoe, where we talked about planner nerdery. We talked about stationery and planning, among other things as well. Like we talked about archetypes, deities, community, witchy community. It's a really awesome podcast. I will leave the link to it down below if you want to check that out. And today, I am going to hang out with my friends Siobhan and Lauren. Sadly, I think Lauren has got to go to work after just a couple of hours, but Siobhan and I will hang out, probably have some coffee, we might go to the witchy shop, which would be lovely. It's Wednesday the 22nd today. I don't know when I'm getting this video scrapbook out, but I just thought I'd let you know what my plans are. And I'm going to go back tonight to the seaside because I miss my soft light and I'm struggling to find the light here to film tarot readings in adequate light for my clients. So I'm going to go back home, get my soft light on the go. Oh, it's my bestie. I'm very much looking forward to spending some time with Shiv. She is a really good friend of mine, and she's also a nail technician, which is good because I've misplaced my mum's nail varnish remover and nail file, and I need to sort these puppies out. So yes, I'm going to be doing that. Not very spiritual, but there you are. I'm a lot of things, you know. I'm not just spiritual, I'm a lot of things. I'm a lot of things. Siobhan is really spiritual as well. She is the person I mentioned earlier in this video scrapbook who created an image of the magician that made me think, oh my god, I want to do a deck. So I really loved spending time with her and talking about all things spiritual and non-spiritual. Is anything non-spiritual? That's the question. Before I say goodbye, because I've got to get ready and get the rest of my stuff packed up, I just thought I'd mention that my mum has a book here that I purchased fucking ages ago. There's a little note of my old handwriting in the front. Hang on, let me open this window, open this curtain rather, for a little bit of light on the equation. Look, it says, bought in a charity shop in Ely when I spent the weekend at Charlotte's. Oh, lovely. Oh, I loved Charlotte. That was a long time ago. Freud and Psychology. It's a Penguin Modern Psychology Readings print. And look at the front of it. Oh my goddess, I loved this book when I bought it. I thought it was such a find because it just looks like such a complete throwback. Look how retro that is. I want to take it with me, but I won't because I don't know whether or not my mum's thumbing through it because it was on her
It was in her bedroom on one of the dressers, so I will leave it. But it looks fucking radical, and that just goes to show you how long I've spent reading psychology. Nearly 20 years. More, but it was nearly 20 years ago I bought this book, bloody hell. I do feel like I should know a lot more considering the amount that I've read, but you know, I think a lot of people feel that way, and I don't think it's really fair to do that to yourself. As Jung once said, everything I know I could fit under my little fingernail and still have room for a lot more. Okay, it's time for me to shower and get my stuff packed, and yeah, I'm excited for the day. I'm back by the seaside. Different terrain, different pace of life, different colours. No better, no worse, just different basically. And it literally has just stopped snowing. It was snowing about 5 minutes ago, 5 minutes before I turned the camera on, which is why I'm dressed up like this. Right, I'm gonna wander home because I have back-to-back clients from 20 minutes from now until 8:30 tonight, but I just wanted to round off the vlog because I didn't really vlog anymore after I left Bucks. So I hope you enjoyed spending a bit of time with me while I was at my mum's, and much love guys until the next video scrapbook. Blessed be.